like to try any of the white bean tuna?
No.
Okay, any of the apples and red onion with the Dijon vinegar?
Well, we had a just random conversation with a woman who had started another nonprofit here in Fort Collins called the Matthews House. And that led us to other conversations, with friends, and that resulted in some, a variety of conversations. And my husband just blurts out, I think there should be nonprofit restaurants. Everyone deserves to have access to good food. And so that led me to think, oh my gosh, I saw a story about one on Denver News. And so we Googled that. We found Same Cafe, which stands for So All May Eat. And we were down there the very next weekend to see what it's all about. It's funny, both my husband Jeff and I are co-founders of the cafe, and neither of us have a restaurant background at all. And Jeff is actually our chef. So we have volunteers who do a lot of the prep, and he puts the food together and does the cooking. He's always been a really talented home chef and had a special just talent for putting soups together. He's very good at it. My background is in communications. I work at the College of Engineering at CSU. And my husband, just prior to the cafe, was teaching. So very different background than you'd expect. We opened on Thanksgiving Day of 2014. So it's been a year and a few months. And I haven't checked the numbers from today's lunch, but I am assuming that we just hit our 28,000th meal served, and we're only open for lunch. So it's FoCo Cafe, and it actually stands for Feeding Our Community Ourselves. So that's how we incorporated it, but we do business as FoCo Cafe. The first three words of our mission statement are to build community, and that's really our goal. We do that with food and with really good food and making that accessible to all people. But the whole goal is to build community around the idea of access to healthy, nutritious, and locally sourced food. So what we do is we reinvest our money in really good food. So we work with farms like Buena Vida Farm, where we get our beautiful heirloom pumpkins. This week our lettuce was a combo of spinach from Native Hill Farm and lettuce from Quatrix Aquaponics. So we're always featuring greens that are from local farms no matter what time of year it is. We've had all our parsnips coming from Native Hill. We also work with Sunspot Urban Farm, Hope Farm, the Shire. There are a lot of different farms, Garden Sweet. We feature a lot of foods in the more of the growing season from Harvest Farm, which is an arm of the Denver Rescue Mission. It's a work therapy program and a residential program that's voluntary for people that are recovering from drug and alcohol addiction and the chronic homelessness that comes from that. So they grow a lot of food for us, and then they come in and volunteer, share meals. It's a great experience all around for them, because who's got more skin in the game, as it were, than people who actually grow the food. But then we also have a number of people that are guests of ours who have not had very good dental care and or access to it. And so soup is a very intentional choice for us, because we'll have a lot of people that go through the line that will pass up salads because they literally cannot eat them, or they'll focus more on the grain-based salads that are softer. And we've also had people comment that they really could taste the love that goes into the food. I've heard people call it intentional food, where the intent, you can taste it, and that it's meant to build community. Food waste is on our minds all the time. We even talk to our volunteers when we're prepping food and talk to them about how we always treat food with respect. because if you've ever grown food, you know how much work it is to, get it from here to here. And so we really try not to waste anything. So let's start at how we plate food. When Jeff is up there or whoever might be up there serving food, he's usually asking people, is this the right amount of greens? And we have very little plate waste in the cafe because of the way we actually plate and serve the food. And so, it's wonderful because most restaurants tend to see like a 25% plate waste, but we estimate that we see more like a 5% plate waste. And then anything that is left on a plate is composted for worm compost. So we work with John Anderson, the worm man here in town, to make sure that that does not go to waste. And then when we're prepping, if we have the tops of vegetables that we can't use or the skins of different things that we can't use, that actually goes to chickens. And we even have a glass recycling station in our trash enclosure that the public is welcome to use. Because in our community, most of the glass that you put in your single stream recycling will actually be separated out and taken to the landfill. So many people don't realize that, and there are only 5 stations here in town, and we are one of them. So we really try to make sure that we're using every resource we can as wisely as we can. So when I look around the cafe, I think, okay, these tables came from a young women's juvenile jail, and they were stenciled with the words "offender must face officer station" and a number. So if you were number 8 that day, you're the only one to sit at number 8 table, and you have to face a certain way. And so we had students from the U.S. Green Building Council help us to sand them down, and then we had a retired couple that helped us refinish them. So, all of our plates are donated, our silverware, speakers in the ceiling, even the kitchen sink here was donated. Looking at, at the end of the year, was poring over our financial reports and looking at these and going, wow, we are actually sustainable through our donation box the way we're configured right now, which is truly amazing. We have an online system where people can sign up to volunteer, and over 1,100 people have already done that. It's really amazing. I won't say that 1,100 have actually volunteered yet, but we have, I was looking the other day for grant purposes, and in 2015 we had between 400 and 500 active volunteers. And volunteers of all ages. It's really cool. And of all socioeconomic levels too. But there are also this large piece of art that's here was from an event we had in the summer, and one that we're planning again for this summer, and that is our Bicycle and Music Festival, and it's at a farm, Shire CSA. And that was a collaborative piece by anyone who wanted to add to it. And it is just a gorgeous piece of art. It's really amazing. So it just developed as the day went on at that event. We started, there's a number of scarves still hanging on the walls. And what we did was we threw out a challenge to the community and said, it's going to be cold. And then we went through a couple of really cold snaps here. And we asked people to make or purchase new scarves, and we've given at least 200 away. And we have a new thing outside. I don't know if you saw it. It's the giving tree. This is 2 farming women. I love the 2 farming women. That's pretty cool. Approached us and said, we saw this video out of Iran about someone who was putting hooks up on buildings and then encouraging people to hang coats there for people to take if they needed a coat. And this is a giving and receiving unit. It's on wheels. We put it outside in the morning and roll it back into the garage in the evening. And it has things like journals and pens, small baggies of dog food, things like that that people can grab and, and have access to, and they might not otherwise. So it's really exciting that it's been so popular too. It's never been empty. Even people in need. I had a couple the other day that came in, and And I know for a fact that they're in need because they've shared that with me. And they were saying, I think we have some things we can contribute to it. And they were really excited about that. And I think that's one of the really powerful things about the cafe, is that it gives each person an opportunity to contribute. And that contribution is valued. Well, we've seen, I can throw out some statistics, like the probably 28,000 meals served as of today. And, some things like that. We know that we've, hosted, about 15 interns from Colorado State University. And, I think we've really been able to make an impact in a lot of different ways. So there's those statistical numbers, which tell us a lot of things about success, or lead us to believe that we're doing really well. But it's the anecdotal things that mean a lot more to us. It's the people who we see who are, recovering from drug and alcohol addiction and reconnecting with society. It's the people who are thinking about how they're eating that didn't used to do that. It's the people who are starting gardens, that's powerful. It's the people who stop in to tell us their good news, I got a place to live, or I got a job. Well, when we started this, it was an idea, and we just started talking with people and finding out if there was support for it. Frankly, when we began, we really thought that we'd find someone else that was thinking of doing something like this, or were already started, and we'd help them out. And it kind of got to a tipping point where it's like, okay, we either need to do this because we haven't found anyone else, or we need to stop where we're at. And we made the decision to move forward and really try to do something that was completely out of our scope of experience. And I would encourage other people to think that way. You really do, and communities really do have the power to make change, and to provide opportunities to others and to make an impact. And I think it's important that we remember that it's possible and get out there and start making good things happen in our communities.
But angels don't need angels, all they need is you, watching over me and taking care of you. And it's so sad now that you're gone, but your love still holds on so strong. These angels don't need angels, all they need is you, watching over me and taking care of you. Oh, angels don't need angels.
That was awesome.